Back live. It's a little bit after the 8 o'clock hour, and you're still tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Those of you who are just tuning in, you know what it is. It's our Friday, and we are out here. Let me just tell you, it's a no-holds-bar conversation that we're having today, and that's just like we like it, right? Because if you can't have a conversation that you can be who you are, we can delve into some different things, we can have a truth test, it's a litmus test, then I'm not going to waste your time. Because we're going to be educated, enlightened, and empowered by the time this thing is over, because you're going to take this information into your day so that you can be better. And normally it's our Friday time, and I have my sisters in to talk about our mental health moment. They're traveling, so great travels to you all in South Dakota this morning. But I did a little better. Like when you can just match it and up it a little bit, they're amazing. But to have a millennial in the building, I met this young lady. Before I bring her in, let me just say. So you all know me, right? So I met this young lady through Reverend Sheffield, had some engagement with her, had her on as a conversation on the radio side of it. And just, I don't impress easy. You all know. But this one right here, I just was like, I just love her. I'm like, if I had a daughter, like I just believed that it would be her. She just reminded me of me. And so then it come to find out that she went to King too. So she's an alum, and that just took it over the top. And so I just had to bring her in because she's such a ray of sunshine, and she's such an inspiration for all of us, specifically to her age group. And I just knew that you would feel the same way. So I just wanted to introduce her to you, if that's okay, if I can do that. So please welcome in Mrs. Brittany Sharp. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. I was not expecting that wonderful introduction.
You weren't?
Thank you.
Well, what did you think it was going to be?
I didn't know you felt that way.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you see the light shining off of her? Did you just not get it? Like, absolutely, Brittany.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me just tell you. So Brittany happens to be an educator, and she's an activist. She happens to be a candidate for a school board citywide. So we're going to get into that. But just more outside of all of that, she is just an enlightened young lady. How old are you, Brittany? 25?
28.
28. I wanted to make her 25. Yeah. 28. Tell us, and 8 Mile, everybody, I see you. We're going to open up the lines. I want Brittany's perspective on where we are with the community. If I'm going to ask her about if she has an opinion about Bill Cosby. We're going to connect that into the vision for Detroit and where we are. Specifically, your thoughts on education, because that is the area in which you're asking for support for being a member of the school board at large. But I think it's bigger than that. So we'll get there. So everybody hold on, and you all can call in. And if you want to infuse some other topics, so it is our freestyle hour, and you can do that as well. But Brittany, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am from Detroit,
Yes.
Raised, born, and reside on Detroit in the neck of the hood. And that was intentional because a lot of people say, for success to happen, you have to move out of the neighborhood. And I wanted to challenge that narrative to say, no, you can be successful and you can be exactly who you're created to be where you are at. It's not always the environment. The environment does have a very specific role in how it shapes you. But when you got something deeper inside of you, it can override the things outside of you. So I stay
Did you all see how you see how she just did that? Woo!
Wow.
Okay, please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Educated in math over 7 years, teaching DPS students in a program called Math Corps. Graduated from Wayne State, Bachelor of Honors in Honors Psychology, where I studied attachment styles and went and presented that to people and had new findings and presented that in Chicago and graduated, became a family and portrait photographer, got my own business, have 2 ministries. One is called Blushing Daughters and another is called Go Deep, Drop Everything and Pray. And here I am, wanting to serve our children because I think there needs to be a shift in how we are shaping the culture inside of the schools. And it's time to throw away and dismantle and deprogram some of the thinking of how we perceive our students
Yes.
and our youth in this society, and let them know that they are just as valid as the next person. And we have to believe in our own children before we expect other people to believe in it. So some people, they just fall into place of how we treat them and how we think about them. And so I think it starts with us.
Yes.
And so I want to be a part of that changing of the narrative and stir things up and get our kids foraging and moving forward and the things that they are called to do.
Yes.
So I'm signing up to it, and I'm hoping to make some great impact as I hedge forth.
Absolutely. Did you all get that? So you just gotta support her. Like, how can you just not support her? Because you, and you know what? I said the same thing, right? Everyone, and you could have gone anywhere. You have the educational acumen and the pedigree that you could have just packed your bags and hit the hills and just said, I'm going into all the hot places and I can walk away from here. And you didn't.
Right.
And you chose to stay in the beast of the belly. That's what people, the belly of the beast. That's what people, I live right in the hood. Too. And they're like, well, why? I said, well, why not?
Exactly.
Like, I don't feel comfortable out there. Let me just tell you all, I don't care about the suburbs. I mean, yeah, you have to go and whatever. That's just not where my heart is.
Yeah.
And so I have that appreciation for you. And so, Brittany, are your friends thinking the same way? Like your age group, your peers, is your crew like same age, and do they think the same way?
Yeah, they actually do. And my family say, how did you find people like you?
Right.
You know, so they're activists as well. They're driven by the spirit as well, and they're actually out here too doing things. And so I'm grateful, because you can't always find people like that.
Right.
And it's a blessing.
It is a blessing, because I normally roll solo. Some of my best friends don't live here.
Okay.
They're New York, LA. And so here, I'm either with my mama. Shout out, folks. Not for long. She's going to be in Arkansas with my dad. But, I roll by myself. Because you said it. Like minds, few far. You have great people that you know. People that you've grown up with, went to high school with. That's cool. But it's different. When you have, you have a different calling on your life, different life experiences, trying to have a different conversation, shaping and changing the narrative. Absolutely, Brittany, that happens. Before I go back to the line, you see they're all lit. Do you have an opinion about this Bill Cosby scenario, or the confirmation of Kavanaugh, or anything in that realm?
Yeah, so I think that it's important that everybody is investigated, no matter who you are, right? And so there is the piece about how much people are actually paying attention to Bill Cosby and actually attacking him, but not as even balance when it's coming to another side of a culture.
Yes.
But I think everybody should be investigated, and I don't want to sweep under the rug the allegations that have come and have arisen. Because this is a very sensitive subject and topic, and I think it's worthwhile to actually make sure everything is being paid attention to and not being overwritten because of who it is and what they've done in the past. Because we know that people have been betrayed by their own family members with these type of scenarios, that a lot of people would just say, well, just be quiet, or but for the sake of no, I deserve just as much as attention as this person does. And I think that unfortunately, there's been instances where sometimes it seems as if the black culture has to be the example. But I would like to see justice served.
Absolutely.
Across the board.
Across the board. And let me just say, and for everyone, if you're just tuning in, the whole premise of the conversation for me, and I stated it as a disclaimer, the opening of the show yesterday, is that it's not about the rape, the allegation of rape, or the abuse, the sexual abuse. That is wrong. Period. To everyone, rape is wrong. Forcing yourself on someone is wrong. Being misleading in whether your intentions are, motives, all those are wrong. That wasn't my conversation for Bill. My conversation for Bill was, what does that look like as an image and an icon and a value of $400 million, and that he was broken. And why was he broken? Because it has to be something else. It can't just be because your women have come up from 30 years ago in a culture in which you had, 30 to 40 men already, that all of them are not men of color, who have come out, and women have said, oh, they did this to me, they did that to me, in numerous numbers out that exceed Bill Cosby, and nothing has happened to them. And so now this man, who was not the first, but he's the first celebrity to go to jail. And for me, I just wanted us to delve deeper into what that looks like. The socioeconomic issues of it, the assessment of who we are and how we fall into that. Because a lot of times we believe that wealth fixes things. And my position is that wealth is nothing without power. And so if you don't have the two, then you can't create an action plan. But if you don't know what's going on, then it's a moot point altogether. And so that brought us to where we are in Detroit and the vision for Detroit. What are your thoughts about Detroit right now?
What are my thoughts about Detroit? I think that Detroit is progressing.
Okay.
I don't feel as if everybody is feeling included.
Okay.
And so, shout outs to the council people who are actually standing to take the stand to get us included,
Okay.
and not feeling displaced.
Okay.
I do think that if you're paying attention enough, that you could potentially be a part of the shift in Detroit,
Okay.
Which is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And just fighting for that. There's come a time when either we're going to complain only and react, or we can try to step up and respond and be a voice at the table.
Absolutely, Brittany. And that's what we talk about on the show. That at the end of the day, it doesn't change the realities that we are experiencing, but we can't stay there.
Right.
So a lot of times we get callers that come in, oh, well, the statistics say this, and this is what happened in the 60s. And I get all that. I understand all of that, and then what? So what else do we do? So when we understand all of that, now what?
Action.
Because that can't be the crutch. It just can't. If you want a different outcome. So if you want to still play the victim, and yeah, I said it, everyone. If we want to still play the victim, then that is the conversations that we will have. But you already know that we're in the end of September right now. We're about to usher into 2019, and we're not going to have the same conversations.
Exactly.
We're just not. So let's go back to the line. Thanks for your patience. We're going to finish up with 8 Mile. Thanks for your patience. And then all the other lines are lit, and we're going to keep having the conversation. So great morning again.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8 Mile. I guess I lost you. Good morning. Is this Brother Tyrone?
Yes. I'd like to say the young lady said to be a voice. And I know the young people who desire to start to represent the community,
Okay.
not just to be political officials, because that's what we've been had. The black political officials went into politics to enhance their individual career. And when they went into politics to enhance their career, they end up as political oligarchs.
Sure.
Sold themselves to corporation. And Collette, you said it so correct this morning. Those are the people who created the white city we see in District 5. So, young lady, you don't have a really a foundation, because of the majority of the activists and the political individuals sold themselves out to corporation against the black community, and we haven't had representatives in the black community. In other words, you said board. We need representatives to represent our interests, not to come back representing the corporation's interests to us. So I hope you success in what you're doing. On Bill Cosby.
Hold on one second, Brother Tyrone. Hold on one second. I just need, Sean, can you help us get a little volume? Because I'm not hearing Brother Tyrone as well, and I want us all, of course, to be able to hear all the callers that we have coming in. So Sean is going to help us real quick. 1 second, Brother Tyrone. And okay, go ahead, Brother Tyrone.
Yes, and Bill Cosby, 8 Mile said it.
Okay.
He was an entertainer who came about when the early developing black family, working class family, was being formed, because we had jobs, we could marry and get a house and raise our children.
Okay.
But they was taking all the factories.
Sure.
All over the country, they was taking manufacturing out of black areas.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Cosby only represented what the middle class, the 10% black, was doing, and gave the impression that that's what all blacks could do, and that means the white masses thought we was just lazy, shiftless, and dumb. So he did play the role to give a false image about black families when it wasn't. He didn't represent black families. That was the middle class black family.
Right.
So I think that if he did the crime, he should do the time.
Okay.
I don't have any good feelings for him, because I fell out with him when I was in New Orleans.
Okay.
And he was down there blessing those people out there. They was cursed with that hurricane because they was prostituting, they was doing that. And I booed him on on the floor and out in the park, and
Okay.
everybody agreed with me. So that's all I know of Bill Cosby.
All right.
But I would say this. We are in a war against the federal government who is passing policies and making life hard for us. But something good is happening. 50% of the millennium, mostly white, they work for contract firms. They part-time. They 61% live in their parents' house. Only 31% can marry or live with somebody. So we now got a chance to unite with them and stop the government policies. But I want to say this before I leave. I appreciate what you said today, Collette.
Okay.
You really reflected what was happening in our community with our politicians, and I will also second you. Anybody continue to vote for the Brenda Jones and them are hurting us.
All right. I appreciate that,
man.
Brother Tyrone. And you all know that's a new for us because normally Brother Tyrone and I, that's not normally our history. So that's really good. And I'm not saying it. It happens to be those individuals that are in those placeholders, okay? I'm talking about the mindset of the individuals. If you don't understand the game that you're playing in, for me, don't come to the race. Don't come. Because we think that it's as simple as I have a desire to serve for the community and now I want to be an elected official. Two different worlds. You all recall a couple of weeks ago, Speak Rock was right here with Brittany sitting, and he asked me, Collette, how do we groom the new politician? What does that look like? And I said, well, we don't. This is just my opinion. We don't, because it's not about the person. We put the onus on the person, and America has shown us that it is about the interest that controls the person. There's a Geppetto to everybody's Pinocchio. So if my idea is to raise money to be the outside interest, and then you put money where you want it to go. That's why we can't get rid of insurance in Michigan. It's a business. You get paid too much money, you're not going to eradicate insurance. Stop. And we keep having a conversation thinking it's going to be different. Then we're going to have this different outcome. You don't understand how America works. And so that's our challenge, and then we consistently get disappointed because people then start giving us lip service because what they believe we want to hear to get a vote, and then you get in office, and then there's a level of accountability, and you fail every time. Did you all get it? I said it. Brittany didn't say it. I said it. So don't hold that against her. I said, and it fails us every time because we keep putting our ownership for success on someone else. You better understand who America is, the best country in the world. You better understand, because if you can't make this work, you can't make it work anywhere else. You're not going to Africa. You're not going over to Cuba. You're not going to Europe. You're not going to those places. You're right here. And majority of us won't even leave this state. So then what? We won't even get out of this city. I said it. So if you can't figure out how to make it work for you at home, then what is it? Maybe we don't think it should work. But I don't know. But let's go to the line. Want to see what else? Okay. Thanks for your patience. Great, amazing morning to you. Caller,
Hello
you there?
dear.
Caller?
Great show.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
A great host, great co-host, and I appreciate everything about you, Collette, by waking up the conscience of the people in this community
Thank you.
to your pleasant ways. I really appreciate you. Also appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be DJ 8 Mile on your TV show.
Absolutely. How could I not, 8 Mile? There's more than one way to have a conversation. If that were the case, then it doesn't have to be coffee and conversation with Collette. It could just be Colette's conversation. And then I don't have to talk to anybody else. We don't grow. We're not better if we don't communicate. Because I believe that we're all products of our environment and our experiences. So you could put the same statement down there and say, okay, what do you think about it, Brittany? And you have a whole different interpretation of it, perhaps in myself, because of our life experiences, everyone. And it's not a judgment here. It's not whether what you believe is right and what I believe is wrong or whatever. It's where are we so that we can come together. So please, 8 Mile, is there something else you wanted to share?
Like I said, thank you for also introducing different individuals out of our community to your TV show.
Sure.
Meaning, you allow people to grow with you. You allow people also to have a different opinion fan you, but still get a chance to express themselves on your TV show. I really would like a lot of people to really understand the opportunity Miss Collette Ramsey is bringing to this community, because after you practice what you preach this year, meaning you got involved in the political circle through example and was opening the door for others. Now, a lot of people can talk the talk, but they don't know how to walk the walk. I'm giving you your positive acknowledgments because this is what you are doing, whether other people want to acknowledge that or not. So thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
You have not forgotten about the generational residents of the city of Detroit. And you know I'm the one that created that term, to the point that our mayor has said that he's going to include, even though he didn't use the exact term that I used, the generational residents of Detroit. And we see it now.
Sure.
Okay? So
Sure.
thank you, dear.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, at the end of the day, again, it's us. I tell you all the time, that was one of the lessons I learned coming out of Wharton, right? So that's in West Philadelphia, one of the most economically depressed regions in the city. And I could walk up the campus with people that look like me who wouldn't speak. Now, this is on the outskirts, right? I'd walk past someone I clearly knew was a resident or going to work, wasn't a student. I would speak, they wouldn't speak to me. I'm like, okay. I could go up the yard, of course, walk by people that look like me. They speak to me because majority of us knew each other because it was only a small percentage of us who were on campus. But the other people didn't believe that I belonged there. I then move out of that environment and I'm traveling, and I would still get that quote unquote disrespect until I had to tell you what my pedigree was. And so I said, Collette, you know what? Stop. If I am you and you are me, the only thing you're going to see is this woman of color and whatever else you create based off of what you see me to be. Until I open up my mouth if I have to correct you on certain things. So if I can't relate to you, if I have no desire to understand who you are and what your history is and what your story is, because it has a direct impact on me, because to them we all are the same, then what good is it? I can be the most educated, profound person in the world. What did Henry Louis Gates, didn't he just show us that example of when he was walking, trying to get into his house in the prestigious community, and the police stopped him, and he's like, wait a minute, I live here. They're like, do you? But he's professor, author, come on, everybody. We are each other. And until we realize that, then it won't be beneficial for us as a whole, you guys? So I don't know. Do the millennials think that way?
Yeah, of
Really?
course.
Okay, I don't know, because I think there are a couple different groups of millennials out here. There is some,
Essentially.
okay.
Well, for me, I know I have an old soul, so
Yes, you
I feel
do.
like I'm a balance on the bridge a
Right.
little bit, because I can, hang with the senior crowd, but I can
Right.
also hang with the younger crowd as well.
Yes.
But I really feel like with the millennials that they really want to be heard.
Okay.
And they're tired of just the status quo. And a lot of people fail to realize that once you get old enough, you want to know, why can't you do something? Or how do you do something? And a lot of times we didn't have people coming back giving us, who were supposed to be pioneers, supposed to come back and,
Yes.
the telling the tenth,
Yes.
right? And give
Yes.
us the information so we can actually trail and they pass the baton. But now you have the millennials who are creating their own innovative ways
Yes.
to get at the table or to hedge forth in what it is that they're desiring to do.
Yes.
And some people don't quite understand that because they feel like, well, you're not reverencing me and you're not coming after me and making me your mentor. And it's like, I didn't even know that you existed.
Right. Right.
So
did you get that, everybody? I didn't even know you were in the room. You didn't come back and holler at your girl. So I didn't have an example. I had to create my own.
That's
Whitney.
true. And it's been working.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think it is important to have those mentors and to have people come back, or even you be intentional about who your mentor is.
Yeah.
By doing your research, and also being careful as well not to lose your sense of self and your own voice and your
Yes.
originality, but also being tamed as you go through.
Yes.
And I would say tailored. You don't want to be out here just acting the fool,
Right.
but you want to be able to be assertive enough where you can get your point across and not just seem like some angry young black person or some angry young, just younger generation period, because all millennials are black. But you want to be able to get your point across, and you want to be able to do it effectively.
Yes.
And so they want to be included. We want to be included, and we
Yeah.
want to be a part of the change as well.
And we want you to. I think what happens, so I think there are a couple of tiers. So it's my tier. So I literally could be your mother. And so that's up, I'll be 47. and then you have that other tier that's like that could like your grandparent age, maybe like 67 up in
My
the
mom's
70s.
61.
Oh, bless her. Okay, amen, mother. Hey, or a little older than that. And I believe, even with my age group, I've talked to a lot of my peers as it pertains to the millennials, and they've taken on the older mantra that you all should do things a certain way. And I said, stop. Stop it, because you knew when we were their age that we wanted to do things a certain way, and either our parents or those who were older than us said, "Oh no, because we did it this way, and we fought back all the time. It was the pushback all the time because we needed to have that experience."
Exactly.
And so I appreciate that your group now is saying, "You know what? Okay, whether you are here to tell me what it is, not here to tell me what it is, I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to do it the way it looks like me. So I don't necessarily have to have a full-time job. I don't necessarily have to be in a space of 401k, because you hear people say, well, what's your future going to be like? And you don't make enough money to save. Well, and you can look and say, well, how's that working for you? Because you gave somebody 30, 40 years of your life. You're not getting a pension. How's that work? You're 60-something, 70-something, still having to have a job. How does that work? You had to sacrifice family, your time to grow as a person, because you were working, thinking you were going to get a return. That's what the millennials are telling me.
Yeah.
And so y'all have decided, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So if I got to work 6 months and drive for Uber or do whatever, my time is my time. I can have the relationships, I can do the experiences that I want, and I can live this great life.
Yeah. But it's no joke, because the life of an entrepreneur is very serious.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I don't want my own boss. I want to be my own boss.
And
they get out there.
Yeah, I get up when he said that.
My own boss.
Right.
Ain't nobody going to be ruling me.
Right.
But at the same time, it takes hard work and it takes dedication, because you're really working 24/7 at times. And you have to tell yourself to go to work for yourself. Like, I have to go out there and pitch myself as a photographer, and even as the event organizer that I am, like, you have to engage people and you have to be alert at all times.
Yes.
Ooh, and it's no joke. You
They
have to
don't
be
get-
in the right mental,
they don't get it.
mental capacity.
Not
too.
everyone can be an entrepreneur.
No, it's
I
not
tell
for
everyone, when I came back home and my mother was like, well, Collette, you could just get a job. I said, I can't get a job here. First of all, and you all know, I tell everybody, I tried to get a job. So much so that my friends would tell me, don't have a vitae, Collette, that's too much. Just do a one-sheeter. I said, I can't. And then what? Well, don't put your education like after high school. Just put your education. I said, this is crazy.
Wow.
Like, you're not going to hire me because for whatever. You think I'm going to take your job, I'm going to take your whatever. It doesn't make a difference. I'll slow walk it and get it if I want it anyway. So I said, my mother, here, you have to create your own. Because for me, I would feast or famine. If I didn't create a business when I first came here back home, no telling what would have happened. So I commend that. I commend you for doing that.
Thank you.
And you got to. And there's nothing wrong with it.
And the millennial in Detroit might be different from any other place around the world or
Right.
even the nation, because of how our economic system has been set up. Because I've met other millennials and they are taking that 401k route. I think it's a sweet balance. If this is something that you don't have to totally, negate all of your time away from studies or schooling,
Right.
because you want to become an entrepreneur. Like, there are certain things that you can do on the side while you're still working towards whatever else that you want to, if it's furthering your degree, because you got to be knowledgeable to go forth in these endeavors. You're just not starting blind. So I don't discredit education or school.
Absolutely not. She's fighting
Running
and
for
vying to
school
be
board.
education. Right. To be the ambassador of education for our young people citywide. So yes, absolutely. That's important.
But I think it's important to take these components inside of the schools, to
Yes.
take relevant mentorship. I think it's important to have the field working for students to actually know, okay, if this is something that I am interested in, at least I can put my finger into it right now to see if it's something that I really want.
Yes.
Or if it's something that needs to change about this arena that I could potentially bring some type of innovation to.
Yes.
And when I was in high school, we didn't have all of that, and students aren't, they start taking out the arts and the sports, and who's to say if arts is more or less important than math
Absolutely.
or technology or engineering?
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that when we tell our students broaden your horizons, that we are actually creating avenues and streams and just these different components to bring to them so they can actually see.
Yes.
If you only show me 3 things, I'm going to have
That's
only
it.
3
I can't
options.
broad, right. How broad am I with 3?
Yeah, and you'll think something's wrong with
me.
you.
That's right.
And then if you only have people who are above you reinforcing those 3 things only,
Yes.
sometimes students give up because they feel like this just is not me.
Yes.
But if I don't go in this arena, then I won't be accepted, but I just don't flourish or thrive here. So I would like for our kids to thrive in their own, like I said, calling or their own space.
Yeah.
And for us to support that. If that's what you want to do, well, let me set you up.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
to see if that's something
Yes.
that you really want to do. 'Cause
Right.
sometimes
Try it.
you may have that person want to be an astronaut but doesn't want to be the physicist. You
Right.
know, or have that person think they want to be an architect.
Right.
But if they don't know they have to be an engineer, you know, they might not know if this is something that they probably don't want to go or get into. So that's what I want to be able to bring to the schools as well.
You are bringing it. She's bringing it, everybody.
Thank you.
Of course, make sure you get information about how you can stay in contact with Brittany. Let's keep going to the lines, shall we? Okay. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Good morning. How both of
We're amazing. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing really well, and I want to commend Miss Brittany. Is that her name?
Yes.
I want to commend her because we need thousands of young people like her
Yes.
Thank
that
you.
will serve as an example for the upcoming youth and prove that when you become educated, successful, you don't have to move outside of your community.
Yes.
You know, we often, I think what happened to us as a black community with the integration is when a lot of successful professionals were able to, they moved away because they equated success with living with those other folks. And
Yes.
that's not so. We can, I mean, there's so many beautiful communities in this city, and I drive around and I'm surprised every day at some houses that I see in some communities. I say, oh my, I didn't even know this was here.
Right.
And we want to go move out there and say, well, we made it. No, we already are here. We don't have to make it somewhere else.
Right.
We're here, and we need to just develop what we have existing. And so, again, I commend her, and we need thousands more like her. Now I want to talk
Thank
about
you
Bill
so
Cosby.
much.
Please.
Well, first of all, let me talk about that proceeding yesterday with Kavanaugh.
Yes.
What was very telling to me is when I watched part of that proceeding was the composition of the people who are to make the decision about this man.
Great point.
Okay, when you look around that room, you saw maybe 2 or 3 black people speckled among the group.
Yes.
So what does that tell you?
Right.
That tells you that we're not going to get fair treatment. Anytime you can go back in history, and they have postings all the time on Facebook showing the horrific scenes of our people being traumatized and tortured
Yeah.
for pure entertainment,
Yeah.
hanging for entertainment,
Yeah.
laughing, bringing their children to watch the horrific scene of the dehumanization of another person.
Yes.
Do we really think that we're going to get fair treatment from people that have that in their DNA?
Yeah.
Let's get real here. You know, we can argue all day long, Bill Cosby got this and so might get that.
Right.
Are you surprised? I'm not.
Right.
So until we can get ourselves in those positions that make the decisions, we're going to have to keep expecting this kind of unfair, unbalanced treatment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
So we need young people to get into politics. We need young people to want to make a change, who want to change the policy, who wants to make the law. I wrote on my page, white people made the laws, white men make the laws to protect them. They're not in favor of us.
Right.
But he who has the pen has the power. Now, on Bill Cosby, I have to agree with 8 Mile, and I saw a post that was very telling, in which stated, oh, I get it. Y'all are mad because they locked up Dr. Huxtable. That was very, very profound statement.
Right.
Again, predators, most predators have 2 faces. They don't go around and say, guess what, y'all, I'm a predator.
Right.
I'm an abuser. We find them in all professions.
Right.
We find them as doctors. We find them as lawyers. Yes, we find them as actors.
Yeah.
And further, anytime the so-called people of God i.e. the Catholic priest.
Ah.
Come on now. Nobody. Is no such thing as can nobody be have a dual or diabolical personality or give out, they have two faces. Predators have two faces. Now, what was damaging, in my opinion, in regards to Bill Cosby is because a while back in his deposition, he admitted to administering Quaaludes to a female for the purpose of sexual conquest. He admitted that those came out of his words. Those words came out of his mouth.
Yes.
So the man obviously is not innocent. Now, he got away with it for years. If you can't, I think 8 Mile said it, or maybe time on. If you can't do the crime, the time, don't do the crime, period. You may get away with it for years and years. It just so happened Bill Cosby got his when he was 80. Some people might say that was a blessing because he's lived most of his life.
Right.
So there it is with Bill Cosby. I think we don't need to get it intertwined that, he was Dr. Huxtable and he couldn't do that. Yes, he provided a positive image on TV.
Sure.
But he's still a human being. He's still a man.
Sure.
And obviously, he still had issues. So both of you ladies have a great day.
You have a great one as well. Thank you so much. I mean, she put it in perspective for us, everyone. And all I'm just asking to do is think through it. Just think through it. No matter what your position is, think through it. I'm not here. He's going to have to be accountable. Anybody, for whatever you do, whether it's in the Catholic Church, wherever it is, you're going to have to be accountable for what you do. Period. I'm just talking from a bigger conversation when you attach color and wealth to it. What does it look like? Mm-hmm. That's all that I'm saying. And then I want to add this other little caveat into this too. And we're moving it because I'm excited. I'm moving the table, so I'm excited. I'm sorry. I was moving the table. And I'm going to add this other component to it as well. Is that in the midst of us having all these conversations about all that other stuff, how then does it sit home and fit home for us? So do we just look at everything that's happening around us as, that's just what it is? And so, I mean, is that to her point, we just expect that from America? And so do we have a plan of what we're going to do with it? Or we just understand who America is, and so then you're just supposed to work around it? Or pick a conversation that you want to have and then create a narrative? I'm just trying to understand, what do we do? It's kind of like information overload.
Yeah.
Because like when Anita... I don't know why everyone acts like this is new. When Anita Hill was here talking about this with Clarence Thomas, everyone was looking at her like she was crazy. Y'all don't remember that? You don't remember Anita Hill having the same conversation? And at the end of the day, the powers that be are going to put in who they want that are going to govern us, and I use that loosely. But what are we going to do about it? And it's no different than right here at home. Let's see what the callers have to say, Brittany. Thanks for your patience. Good morning to you. Caller, you there? No? Okay, let me go to another line. Caller, you there? Thanks for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning, Queen.
Good morning, King.
And good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Queen, Bill Cosby, we're taking on what we think we hear.
Okay.
And when it comes to preludes, we are making it as if somebody has forced individuals to take these preludes.
Yes.
It's like, you go to a party, and in the party, they may have game, they may have all these different items around the party.
Right.
But as grown-ups with a mind in our bodies, a brain in our head, we make those choices.
Sure.
You can't blame. In other words, when there's some accountability for the individual. You know what? You can't. In other words, if I offer you something, if you accepted that shoe, you accepted that.
Sure.
You don't have to take it.
Sure.
These were grown, sinning individuals. It wasn't children. And I lived in that era, Queen.
Okay.
And that was something that was, and it still goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about it, how judgmental with us, with each other. See how we are, or judgmental we are with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we are quick. We are quick to understand when it comes to us to throw each other, not looking at the fact, the condition or why, the cause, effect.
Sure.
You know, as a people, you know, this is why I'm glad we ain't the final judge in this.
Right.
Because if we were, we'd be in trouble.
Sure.
I'm glad there's a higher and more wiser judge that would judge all of us. Because there's something in each and every one of us alive that if we were judged today, it wouldn't be not one soul left on this earth. Not one. And so we're so quick to pass and sit because we ain't on trial.
Right.
But Bill Cosby, like I said, he earned God. He didn't have to give that to us.
Sure.
That's something that he went through the game.
Sure.
And there are many of us that get money, but we don't shell it out
Sure.
to one another. Most of us, if they gave us the money, we wouldn't know what to do with it no way.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, the thing about us giving and always looking, you know, when it's responsibility within yourself to get up and do something for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you've been blessed by the God, just like Bill Cosby was.
Yeah.
You know, where's some accountability in you?
Sure.
Your life, that's the life that you in control of.
Sure.
You know, but we don't consider that. You're
Right.
looking at other people who have worked to get where they've gotten. They have sacrificed. When do we make that sacrifice ourselves?
Sure. You know, you make a great
we-
point, King, and I
we
want
sit
Brittany to
back.
chime in. Say that for a minute. I want Brittany to chime in on that. Brittany, and then he makes a great point about service, knowing that at some point, you have to understand who you are and the blessing that you can be for others.
Right.
How was that cultivated in you?
How was that cultivated? Well, I come from a serving family.
Okay.
So even my mom being a little bit more older, she's like 35 or 32 years older than me. She's always been a server. And so I've always had that model of someone serving. Like my mother intentionally went for the people who are less fortunate, which kind of shaped how I saw things in life and my perspective. Because even in schools, I was the person that like dismantled the cliques because I would be the person in the middle who would, you know, talk to the less fortunate and, and bridge that gap for the person who was popular and just creating this sense of love in the atmosphere. It may sound corny, but it's true.
It's
And it is truly love that conquers all things. And so as I began to get in event planning, I said, wait, this is more than just event planning. This is really creating experiences for people that they feel welcome and inclusive and appreciated. And sometimes that piece is so neglected for just the bottom line. And in the midst, let's not forget to live and be present. And everybody deserves that chance to be present or that chance to live. And that's why, too, I'm going for the school board because I want kids to be able to live, you know. And so being able to serve is allowing people to live because you're aiding them. And that's what ministering means. The word minister comes from the root word to help. And a lot of people see it as, you know, serve me because I'm the minister. Where if you are the minister, you're supposed to go and serve others. And so I really coin myself as a servant leader, but really just a servant. And I'm finding out that, hey, the way that you serve, you got to lead, you know. So for me, service is very important. And I think that the politics really need servants. And I think sometimes it's just seen as power. And I said, what would it look like if somebody was to really serve? Or what would it look like if these students had the opportunity to choose? Or if these people had to choose who their leader is? Who would they just off rip choose? Or would it be about just personal agendas or just own selfish gratification? So I appreciate serving. I like it. And it's actually sculpted me to be who I am.
Who you are.
Yeah. And I'm comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
Like, sometimes I just have to step back and say, am I serving? Who am I serving? Is this just me or how many other people are being benefited from this?
Absolutely. King, thank you so much for introducing that.
Let me put this out there, Queen.
Sure.
And think about this the weekend.
Okay.
This government spent over $10 million just a few days ago, if you remember, bringing down the mayor of Washington, D.C., Marion Barry. $10 million of our tax dollars that those that's in power work to bring a good mayor down. And we stood around and watched it, and later on they told you, we spent $10 million to bring your man down. How many of us understand that we're put in position? How long would we last?
Ah.
Have a blessed day.
Have a
friend.
blessed day. I
Have a
mean,
blessed
that was a great point. And if you all remember with Marion Barry, no matter what, whenever he ran, he was the people's mayor. No matter what adversity he had, no matter what his physical issues were with addiction, people always elected him.
Wow.
Do you all get that? Because he always looked out for the people. So that's a great point, because there can be a time when there's an intersection. That, guess what? In my humanness, you know my humanness, but I still serve.
Right.
And you know that I serve. So you're able to look past what my challenges are as a human being, because I'm always putting the needs of the people first.
Right.
But it becomes a disconnect when you don't. When A, you're not of service, and so then when the challenges of your humanness come, then it just all blows up. Because you're like, okay, well, you're definitely meeting your personal needs, and you're not that of people. So then, where are you? What do we do with that?
And I think it's a balance too for servants, because sometimes
Sure.
you can serve so much that you forget about yourself.
Ah,
And so
yes,
you have to
yes.
have a healthy mindset when it
Yes.
comes to actually serving. You got to make sure that you're really taking the time for yourself, because if you're not full, it's going to be hard to pour out.
Say it.
And I think that's what's happened sometimes with the teachers.
Yeah.
We may say, well, you need to do this, or they should be doing this, or you should just be doing this job to serve. But you want to make sure that they're not being burnt out
Right.
when it's coming to pour inside of our children.
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to actually coming up with some ways and working with the team
Yes.
to actually make sure that the teachers are feeling appreciated, and those paraprofessionals or even the clerical staff is being poured into, because you
Yes.
got to have a core team that's healthy.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're creating a space of tension,
Yes.
frustration, irritation, and a lot of sacrifice without any restoration.
Yeah.
So it's important. For
It
having
is,
that
and let me
balance.
just tell you all, and she couldn't be a better candidate because she has a psychological background to it. So you can look at people. It's not about color. I hear people talk about, we have all these white teachers that are in the schools right now. Well, then that's who we have. How's that? So if you don't have the black teachers in the schools and you have the white teachers in the schools, you better understand who you have that's going to be there to service your children. And a lot of times, people who are in the leadership part of education don't understand the psychological issues that are going on in that classroom. She's educated in psychology, so you can look and say that, Brittany, you could probably tell 80% of probably what the teacher has to endure in the classroom has nothing to do with the education.
Right.
It's meeting the child right where they are and understanding their background, what they're bringing in from home, how they process, what that looks like, who you need to
Exactly.
understand them to be, and then who you need to understand the teacher to be based on their experiences, maybe a narrative from the media and how their upbringing was, to
Exactly.
be able to mesh the two and then identify an education platform and a curriculum that helps the student.
Exactly. You know, and so that's what one of my pillars is, the safety, to make sure that the safety is the total well-being of the student.
Yes.
And the school community overall.
Yes.
But if you can't pretty much look at your student and see that there's an issue going wrong, all you can just come to a conclusion is that they're bad,
Right.
that's an issue.
Yes.
Because there's a root to that.
Yes.
There's a root to every problem or every issue, and we have to get to the root with our students. And that's just the reality of it. If you want our students to be successful in this system,
Sure.
that might not be every system,
Sure.
but it's something that must be paid attention to and brought to the board and be talked about,
Yes.
and looking to solve issues. It's not once something happens, let's create a culture to prevent this. Let's
Yeah.
create resources, whether it's the mental, whether it's the physical, or even infrastructural,
Sure.
that these students know that when I come in, I'm a home away from home. And,
Yeah.
and some people, it might be just their
It
home.
might just be that.
So
Yes.
they can feel welcome and thrive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I've seen it done before with the students that I've worked with
Yes.
through the program, and it's been very effective. And even just me as a person, as I take it around with just the different groups, people love to feel appreciated, and people want to know that they're being heard.
Yes.
They want to know that they're included. They want to know that you care.
Yeah.
You know, I heard Bishop Venn, he said, you can't teach people how to care,
Hey.
you know, but you can lead by an example.
Hey,
You can
you
be an
can- you can do
influence,
that.
and you can set a basis of fundamentals and principles
Yeah.
for people to follow.
Absolutely. And Brittany said it, and Caller, we're about to get to you. You're going to be our last comment for the day. But I think she said it best. If you want them to thrive in this system, because there's another system that they'll gladly put them in. It's called the penal system, the correctional institutional system, jail, prison. In that institution, gladly just warehouse them on over there and not even have a problem with them. That's not what we want. So if indeed we don't want our young people to be subjected to jails and prisons and for their lifetime, you better invest now in their education.
Yeah.
How's that? Can you get that connection? And I think she's a viable, an amazing young lady to be in addition to the citywide platform. So let's go to the line. This is the last. Thanks so much for your patience. You have a minute if that's okay. You're the last caller for this morning.
Okay, good morning,
Good
ladies.
morning.
Good morning.
And good luck to you, Brittany.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say something about Bill Cosby real quick.
Okay.
I met him years ago in the Penobscot building when I worked downtown.
Okay.
And he was nothing but a gentleman to me. He treated me nice.
Okay.
Now, we all know that most of them women that he was accused of raping was probably nothing but, you know what, I don't want to say the name on the air.
Right.
But they did say that in his deposition, he said, I bought Quaalude to give to women for sex.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to take them. Why you taking pills from people that's offering them to you? You know what you were getting into.
Hey.
Now, I want to ask you, Collette, because you so well-rounded.
Okay.
I've been hearing about a bill, H.R. 1242. Maybe next week, can you come back on and do a little research and tell us what that bill is all about?
Absolutely. HR 1242?
Yes.
Okay.
It has to do with 400 years of slaves.
Okay. I absolutely will.
All right, then. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
we appreciate you.
And good luck again, Brittany.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
All right,
So,
bye-bye.
Brittany, how do they stay in contact with you, please?
Oh, well, you can call me at 313-671-5423, 313-671-5423, or you can check out thesharpvote.com. Sharp with no
Vote.
E.
Okay.
And Brittany Sharp on all social media outlets.
And let's spell that BRITTANY.
BRITNEY.
See what I'm talking about?
Sharp,
Right.
SHARP.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward. You know, actually, when I was on Horace Sheffield show, somebody did call me, and we had a great conversation.
Absolutely, as it should be. And I want you all to call Brittany as well. It's been an amazing time with you today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much. I
much
really
for being here. We
appreciate-
appreciate your voice.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to your victory
Thank
on
you.
behalf of our young people.
I appreciate
so, amen.
that.
Everyone, our time is up. 2 hours are up. I mean, it shouldn't be this fun. But I appreciate you, and we couldn't do it without you. Continue making today amazing. Live in your moments. Realize that those moments matter. Connect with someone today. Walk past and say hello. Give a smile. Sometimes that's all each of us needs. So I appreciate you. Have an amazing rest of the day. Have a phenomenal weekend. Until next week, we'll see you then. Take care.